Mary had a little man.
The fault. We believe that all men are created equal.
To the magnificent mosaic that is America.
From radio beacon to radio beacon. I have a dream today. Change has come to America.
Believe me.
Help is on the way.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
It's a figment of your imagination.
Randi Rhodes Show.
Turn up your mind.
We can confirm, without a doubt, that our equipment is on the surface of the moon, and we are transmitting.
A space milestone for a robotic lander named Odysseus, the first commercial moon landing.
10 miles to go.
And the first American touchdown into lunar dust since 1972.
Welcome to the moon.
Intuitive Machines reports Odysseus landed upright, but final descent was a nail-biter. The spacecraft lost its navigational capability, but found it was riding with luck. Part of its cargo, a NASA navigational experiment. Flight controllers tapped into it to help guide the lander softly to the surface.
This is the assembly room.
When we visited the company last year, CEO Steve Altimus showed us that NASA instrument.
This is actually helps with navigation. It's running independent of our navigation system, but this is NASA's entrant into how you do precision landing on the moon without GPS.
NASA Administrator Bill Nelson.
It was a NASA payload that saved the day.
Odysseus targeted its landing near the moon's south pole, prized by NASA because its craters may contain ice, which would mean water, a necessity for deeper space travel.
Now we're having these commercial companies go way out there to the moon, and they are serving as scouts ahead of us sending our astronauts.
Odysseus has 1 week to work. Ultra-cold lunar night will set in and freeze its solar batteries. But what an arrival.
Oh, my God. All right, so everybody, private space means something completely different now to me. Used to mean something else. Now it's Elon Musk and the moon. They're going to have everything. I mean, they're going to privatize the moon. He's privatizing your brain. This is your brain on Neuralink. This is your brain on Neuralink on Twitter. This is your brain on the moon. I mean, honestly, it's like one small step for a contraption, one giant leap for capitalistic hegemony. Holy crap, man. I am not happy. I am not happy about the private space thing. What could happen? What could go wrong? That a guy like Elon could control, Starlink, meaning whether or not Ukraine can conduct a war, right, with, internet access, with telecommunication access, or if he decides he doesn't want them to win, turn it off. Do you think that that's entirely too much power for, like, the private industry and one man? Do you think, or is this all okay with you because, they're conservative? Oh, we're not spending any money. It's good. Corporations are people, my friend. That crowd, they'll be thrilled. They'll be thrilled that we're not paying to go to the moon. Because if I had to tell you that we were paid to go back to the moon after 50 long, dusty years, I hope they had a cleaning lady. I hope somebody, straightened it up a little bit before we start taking photos of it, because all that's up there is dust. Yeah, just dust in like the odd golf ball. Clean it up, everybody. But, if I had to tell them that we went back to the moon and isn't America great, and, it's like spawning imagination and innovation and creativity again. And last time we got Velcro and Tang, and who knows what we'll get this time. And isn't it, they would say, oh, I have a gun because we're going to go broke. I have a gun. And apparently what you want is landline. I think we learned that yesterday. Because private companies are not reliable. You understand? Not reliable. But I don't know. Now they're talking to me about this. I swear to God, it's trying to sell me on this idea that it's all okay that private companies are going to, be in space. Private companies are going to, be in my brain. So do you know what I'm talking about when I say be in my brain? Do you understand that that Elon Musk has this company called Neuralink? Have you heard about this? I mean, we meant to do this story, I'm going to say a month ago, something like that, or at least a few weeks ago, where he started this company called Neuralink, And it always sounds like there's, like above board, reasons to do this, like it's altruistic and it's, just a great advance for mankind to have a chip in your brain that he wants to put in your brain because he wants to help people who have paralysis, quadriplegia, move things with their mind. And I'm not, everybody like telekinesis. No. There's too many, too many black mirrors they're going to make one about this. I know it. I feel it. I can sense it. But no, he's saying that this is a great advance in the world of paralysis and memory loss. Now, I'm all freaked out about memory loss. You know that. It freaks me out. It scares the bejesus out of me. It's in my family. It's on both sides, whatever. By the way, did you hear about Wendy Williams today? It's an amazing mixed emotion that I have learning that Wendy Williams may have aphasia and definitely, some sort of a dementia. I've known her for a very, very long time, And I mean, it's sad. Let's just leave it at that. It's sad. Brett knows why I'm hedging. He knows exactly why I'm hedging. But so he wants to put this Neuralink transmitter in your brain. Now, there's an update on the Neuralink transmitter that he did put in somebody's brain. And now they're saying that the person whose brain he put it in has recovered and they can now move things with their mind. They can move a mouse with their mind. They can move a cursor with their mind. And he wants them to be able to push buttons because more than a 2-button push is, basically the dividing line between controlling things for real with your mind and not controlling things for real with your mind. However, I don't know that I would want version 1 of anything Elon Musk does. I definitely don't like version 1 of Twitter under Elon Musk. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's a weird ass thing. He's like looking to conquer all the private spaces that you have, all of them. And, cash in. So now they're talking to us about the moon. And they're telling me there's a lunar economy that we just... So I'm saying it's like one giant step for capitalistic hegemony, right? Well, one guy who's going to control... They're talking to me about the lunar economy. I'm like, the lunar... What are you going to sell green cheese? Like, what is the lunar economy? Are you going to, sell dust to people like snake oil? I don't even understand it.
We have either run out of 007s or they have been eaten by Elon's laser sharks because somebody's got to put a stop to this. This is crazy.
I mean, it's just so unbelievable. It is and people are volunteering to be Elon Musk's, lab rats. I mean, they're literally I guess because, they are paralyzed and they would love. But I just keep on thinking about Stephen Hawking. Wasn't he able to think the words on the screen? So why is this, why is this getting hyped as like Elon has pioneered and mined your brain in a way there where no man has got, I don't know what it is. But you know what's going to happen. You know exactly what's going to happen. I mean, no carry-on bags to the moon. And your ad here. Can't we just not have like a corporate billionaire in some private space, which I used to think of as my own mind and various body parts and space? That was... I don't know. Where are the evangelicals? Where are you?
All things Randi at RandiRhodes.com.
Go for launch.
Go.
Speaking truth to power, the Randi Rhodes Show.
Go for launch.
Without a doubt, our equipment is on the surface of the moon, and we are transmitting. So, congratulations, IM team. We'll see how much more we can get from that.
There? See that guy right there, the long guy? What do you bet me he's an incel? What do you bet me? I just, He's like, hey, oh. And then he sees no one else is clapping, and he's like, oh, let me retreat back into my incel world.
You are going to get roasted on all the incel Reddit sites now. They're going to go.
Why? The incels are sensitive. They're sensitive.
It doesn't take much. It doesn't take much.
So, you know what? They'll get old. They'll go to Thailand. They'll find a girl. Do you know what I'm saying? It always has a happy ending. Ha! Okay. Cindy in Florida.
Hey.
Hi.
Randy.
Hello.
Listen, I was wondering how those idiots could go on vacation. They're all worried about abortion and, embryos and all that stuff.
Embryo. Because don't we wake up every morning going, what about the embryos?
Yeah. And yet all of the children in the Ukraine are going to bed tonight hungry and wondering whether they're going to be burned up and burned alive while they're sleeping.
Well, the kids in Ukraine are waking up in Russia. You know that they kidnapped about 700,000 Ukrainian kids. Do you know that? And so today, Joe Biden put new sanctions, 500 new sanctions on countries that do business with Russia, et cetera, et cetera. And part of the reason was not just the murder of Navalny, but it was also the kidnapping of Ukrainian children. These are war crimes, okay? And people just don't want to pay any attention to it. And I just, for the life of me, don't know why that would be. I just don't, I don't understand it.
I don't know. It's all horrible and scary. And
it's horrible and scary, especially the embryo part. Like, Cindy, really, honestly, all kidding aside, who in this audience, who anywhere in this country woke up this morning and said, but the embryos, that's my concern for the day. No one did.
Yeah.
No one
and
did.
I know, and I have had family member who has gone through in vitro.
Yeah, it's a great thing.
And it's not only taking their money and their time and their, passion and their. I'm sorry. I'm so frustrated with this government.
Please, this isn't a government. This is a religion. This is a.
Well, listen, you've all got to be Christian. Didn't you know that?
Well, here's the scary part about you all have to be Christian. But here's the really scary part. So how would you enforce that, okay? So I want everyone to understand that the other day I had this 17-page article that was just freaking me out, and I asked, should I read it? And I didn't read it. I just sort of excerpted it. But one of the things that I think everybody ought to know is that they have an enforcement idea or three about how they're going to make the United States adhere to Christianity and Christianity alone. And that has everything to do with what Mike Johnson does with his kids. You know, the Covenant Eyes app that actually where Mike Johnson can tap into his children's, devices, into their iPads and into their phones. And any Generation A now, their Generation Alpha or even a Z, have never lived in a world without an iPad. They have never lived in a world without a phone, right? And so what they want to do is be able to tap in, and this is what Elon's brain thing is too, like if you have impure thoughts. Can you imagine? Just tap in to your devices, including your brain now, and if you're thinking impure thoughts, or if you're, every sperm is sacred, Cindy, every sperm, right? So if you're thinking about something that's making you want to, let's say, touch yourself, they will, shock you, or they will alert the Christian police or the Vice and Virtue Squad or whatever it is, right? And they'll be able to find you and stop you before you act on your impure thoughts. What could go wrong there? I mean, that's freedom.
Well,
that's total freedom, right?
Maybe they should start in the Senate to try to figure out what they're doing with their impure thoughts.
Well, maybe they ought to start with CPAC, because the guy that Matt Schlapp, he's the guy that Schlapp. It sounds like something impure, but Matt Schlapp, the guy that actually runs CPAC, which by the way is going on right now, but you would never know because know why? No one's there. There's no one there. We finally succeeded in destroying CPAC, and by we I mean Trump.
It was great entertainment, though.
It is. It still is. It still is. I have some clips I will play. They're mashups, but it's just so insane, and when you take a shot of the room, you can see that there used to be like 13,000, 15,000. They used to have overflow rooms, at CPAC. Matt Schlapp, the guy that runs it, though, you talk about impure thoughts. You know that he's being sued for like multiple, almost $10 million for molesting, sexually assaulting multiple male staffers. So he may not be the ideal Christian, but he obviously is the typical one. See, and so that's what makes CPAC such a laugh riot, really. But when you think about Elon Musk, and privatization of every nook and cranny of your life, okay? Now, I mean, you already know that there are online trackers. You already know that everyone knows if you click on something that it assigns an algorithm to you saying, hey, Randi likes bras. Or, hey, Sean likes, underwear with a pouch in it. Yeah, I know that. That's how telling the internet is, okay? So can you imagine if Elon was able to do an algorithm on the thoughts that you have, whether they're impure or they're pure? Do you know what I'm saying? It's too much control. This whole thing about embryos, this whole thing about abortion, this is also about control. And I guess they thought they'd start with the fairer sex, okay? The less threatening sex, the women. They made a huge mistake here, you understand. Never underestimate the wrath of a woman. Never underestimate a woman who's hopped up on estrogen, okay? Never, ever underestimate the power of a woman on hormones, okay? And IVF is a long and expensive process, and it starts with lots of injections and lots of procedures to extract the egg, to fertilize the egg, then to implant the egg, and then to get your body ready for the implantation, more hormones. $250,000. That's how desperately some people want children. And they're going to take that hope away in service of some weird interpretation of their religion, which is why I'm saying, like, where are the evangelicals when it comes to the moon? How come they're not, all freaked out and upset with Elon? How come they're not, punching him back? How come they're not, because, didn't God create it? Didn't God create the heaven and the stars? So how dare a man, try to privatize what God created? Sorry, you should take better care of the earth too, but, that's not the way they view it. They would rather, focus on government control. They would rather focus on control of my uterus. Control. Everything's control with them. It's the 7 mountains theory of Christianity. Okay? You know what that is? It's the 7 mountains, basically, of control. Control. Like areas in which Christianity must be in control. One of them's my uterus. The other one is government. The other one is, what you read and the media. And that's what CPAC was about this year. Well, it was partially about that. Most of it, I'd say 2/3 of it, it was about Trump. Yeah.
Call in, connect. To speak to Randi, call 561-270-3844. 561-270-3844.
Where are my MAGA, ultra MAGA patriots at today?
We've got to get Donald Trump elected president of the United States.
It is always darkest before the dawn. D-O-N, darkest before the dawn.
Ooh,
we
wordplay.
have that leadership this November in Donald J. Trump.
Donald Trump was made for such a time as this.
Go get some more fillers. Your face isn't just, it's not fish-like enough. God, does she have fish lips?
Boy, that darkest before the dawn, that was worth the price of admission right there.
Wordplay. You got wordplay.
Yeah.
For your price of admission, wordplay. Now, listen, CPAC's always been a circus, but this is, didn't you used to want to run away to the circus? Now everybody wants to run from the circus. Nobody is at CPAC. Nobody wants to go to CPAC. No one wants to be there. Only Tommy Tuberville, the embryo cowboy. Yeah, this is Alabama. This is Alabama's finest, okay? The guy who actually wouldn't promote flag officers. Okay, in a time of global peril, Tommy Tuberville didn't want, because he has religious convictions about what books you could read in the military. I swear to God. And so he held up families who have to move from, one billet to another, one base to another, and wouldn't let them know what their future was because he has religious, beliefs that should never, ever be violated. If they are, then your national security is the price for his freedom. What? Yeah. So Tommy Tuberville, embryo wrangler. That's who he is. I mean, talk about putting your eggs in one basket. Holy crapola.
This is wordplay.
Wordplay, baby. You want to play? Let's play, Lara. Let's play. Come on, baby girl. But yeah, I mean, listen, this thing was a circus that people are running from, not to. Okay, now I'm not a fan of the circus. Not really a fan because it could be cruel to animals. This one is now cruel to everyone. Everyone. This was Bizarro World, okay? Bizarro World. Here's a little mashup of kind of like what CPAC's looking for, what they want.
I just want our military to be G.I. Joe again.
Hey, unions at one time were good for this country.
One time.
But not unions for our teachers in our schools.
We go do bedtime with the kids. Ew. And while they say their prayers and the Pledge of Allegiance,
How
of
sick
course.
Is that?
There have been more men and women who have died from wind turbines than nuclear power.
Oh, my God. This is the intellectual heft that is presented to you at CPAC, which is presented by Matt Schlapp, a sexual abuser of men.
I feel like there's some people in Hiroshima and Nagasaki that would disagree with that last statement.
Oh, my God. Holy crap. This is just, wow. This was a fiesta bowl of losers. I've never seen anything like this in my life. Tens of people showed up to hear Lara's wordplay. Tens. It's almost as much about Trump as Trump is. I mean, and nobody wants to be a part of it. And so this I'm taking as yet another sign, another good one, another sign that God has sent to me. Yes. Don't count me out of receiving messages. Don't count me out. Do so at your own peril. I get messages. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, I do. Republicans are winning in George Santos' swing district on Long Island. Every special election has been won by a Democrat now. Okay, nobody wants to go to CPAC anymore, which used to have overflow rooms. I mean, it was just such a fiesta bowl of fun, and now it's like it's like the few people that are even possibly worse than Donald Trump are there. Okay, how low is it going to go over there? So this is how low it will go. Okay, I can answer my own question. Here we have one of the few people who are worse than Donald Trump in this world. Jack Prosebic. Okay, this is a white Christian nationalist crowd. Okay, he's like the leader of the white Christian nationalists. Him, Charlie Kirk. You know the felons. You know the usual. So. And what you're going to hear also in the background after he declares what his purpose in life is, which is really disgusting, you're going to hear somebody say, "Amen, brother," and that would be Steve Bannon. Possibly, like I said, the CPAC is now attended by the few people who could possibly be categorized as worse than Donald Trump.
All right, welcome. I just wanted to say, welcome to the end of democracy. We're here to overthrow it completely. We didn't get all the way there on January 6th, but we will endeavor to get rid of it and replace it with this right here. We'll replace it with this right here.
Amen.
That's right, because all glory is not to government, all glory to God.
Welcome back, my friends, to the theocracy that never ends. We're so glad you could attend. Come inside. Come inside. Yeah, no, they just say the thing you're not supposed to say out loud. They're saying the thing you're not supposed to say out loud, and that is, we want a theocracy. Democracy is too weak. It doesn't work for us. We are demanding that America give glory to God, not to men. The laws of men did not work for you. That's why you're so disappointed. It's because of democracy. And so we're going to move on. We're going to destroy it, and we're going to move into Sharia law. We're going to move into theocracy. We're going to move into, some sort of a Spanish Inquisition posture where Elon is going to know when you have impure thoughts, and you will either be shocked, I mean, like literally, like shocked, or arrested. Like the Stasi will come and get you.
I'm so glad you said that, because what he was saying, I feel like that's exactly what fundamental Islamic terrorist groups say, in Farsi or whatever their local language is. It's the exact same, like direct translation.
No, it is. It absolutely is. And the recruitment tool that, Al-Qaeda and ISIS all use is violent videos. It's the most shocking, horrific, examples of viral videos that gets people to join them. And that's kind of what they're doing here. It's exactly what they're doing here. I mean,
they got J6. They got their J6 videos.
Yes, it's viral, violent videos, and they're saying, these people are political hostages, and we got you, and if you'll do violence for us. In fact, Stephen Miller was there. Somebody needs to, knock on his noggin and remind him he's a Jew. Somebody needs to tell him that, because he's really advocating for rounding people up and putting them in camps. Truly. And somebody asked him at CPAC, how would you do it? How would you round up these millions and millions of people? He's thought about it.
You would establish large-scale staging grounds for removal flights. So you grab illegal immigrants, and then you move them to the staging grounds, and that's where the planes are waiting for federal law enforcement to then move those illegals home. You deputize the National Guard to carry out immigration enforcement, and then you also deploy the military to the southern border, not just with a mission to observe, but with an impedance and denial mission. In other words, you reassert the fundamental constitutional principle that you don't have a right to enter into our sovereign territory, to even request the asylum claim. The military has the right to establish a fortress position on the border and to say no one can cross here at all.
Yes. Okay, so you know what you need to do that? That's right, the Insurrection Act. And that's what they're talking about. They're saying the thing out loud that you're not supposed to say. Day one, when he said he'll be a dictator on day one? Insurrection Act. Mark my words. Let's not do that.
This is the Randi Rhodes Show. To speak with Randi, dial 561-270-3844. That's 561-270-3844.
Okay, pot, meat, kettle.
To see his decline over the last few months, I don't think he'll make it. Just watched him yesterday walking on a tarmac in L.A. with Nancy Pelosi shuffling his feet, looking at the ground. I mean, we got to have some leadership in this.
Here's Tommy. The master race, everybody. The master race. Tommy Tuberville. He mocks the way Biden navigates the tarmac and then falls down the stairs on the tarmac with cameras ablazing.
People are pouring over. It's sort of known as Steak Mountain, State Kill, Snake. It's snake. A lot of snakes.
What? Excuse me? Huh? Come again? What is he talking about? No one knows. No one knows. Pot, meat, kettle. Or as Jon Stewart might call it, your moment of zen. Truly. All right, Johnny in Texas.
Good afternoon, Randi.
Hi.
With all these news reports I've been hearing in recent months with regards to private industry plans to not just colonize, but to extract material from the moon for the purpose of making it possible for other spacecraft to leave the moon's orbit and go further on. My thoughts go back to science class when we talked about the butterfly effect and all every action is opposite equal reaction.
Yeah, physics.
So have anybody in the media, the mainstream media, grabbed any physicists from any local university and say, hey, is there a threshold point at which private industry can pass at which they upset the amount of mass of the moon whereby it can't interact with the Earth in such a safe way where we no longer have tidal action?
I was going to say, the first people that it will. I was going to say the first people that will notice will not be physicists. It will be women. Okay, it will be women. Because what you're looking at every 28 days is full moon and high tide. Okay, that's what you're looking at. So I hear you. I don't know. And let's ask Neil deGrasse Tyson to weigh in on, and why do you sound like you're calling me from the moon? What was that about? I'm guessing it was an AT&T network thing. I don't know. I don't think they care about anything at all except the lunar economy, except the brain, the neuro economy, except for the religious economy. Honestly. So what could go wrong? What could honestly go wrong? Having private industry mining your brain, or mining other planets, or mining, anything. Really. Mining is it's safe, it's secure. Mountains were meant to have flat tops. It's how God intended it, and so it is written somewhere, and so it shall be done. Good old Rocky Top. It was supposed to be flat, plano. Okay, I'm not even going to try. Xavier.
Oh, what? Just X. That's it.
Say it.
X.
Say it.
But you got it the first. You got it the first time.
Say it.
Xavier.
So what did I say? Xavier.
Well, no, you got it the first time.
It's my Spanish accent.
You said it the first time. You did. You really nailed it.
And I promised Brett I was going to make it under 5 seconds. I love your show. I've been listening for 20 years. And I just want to remind everyone in California to vote March 5th. And that's it.
Okay, thank you.
Keep it short.
Okay,
Bye.
X, bye. Jessica in Michigan.
Yes.
Hi.
I have a question.
All right.
Hi, Randy.
Hi.
I have a question. I registered to vote 27 years ago when I was 18. And Fox News is always talking about the educated voter. I'm like, how do you know if I'm an educated voter? I don't recall checking a box saying I'm high school or college educated on my voter registration.
I don't know. I guess when they survey you, that's one of the questions. So.
Okay, I was just curious.
For the purpose of polling you, for the purpose of, polling, they ask you.
Okay.
Right. So.
And I'm a vote blue no matter who.
I mean, Donald Trump likes the poorly educated voter, and, everybody else likes the educated voter.
Okay. Well, I greatly appreciate you taking my call. Thank you.
You're welcome. I think it has to do with polling. I do. I mean, obviously. But if Elon Musk has his way, they'll know. They'll know. Your brain, this is your brain on high school. This is your brain on college. Any questions? Right? This is your brain on fentanyl. I mean, can you imagine? You talk about literacy tests and barriers to voting. Can you imagine if there is, some ability for a private company, because who are Donald Trump supporters? Like anti-Semites, right? And very rich people, the poorly educated, and the very, 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 very wealthy, the billionaire class, because all they're interested in is not paying taxes. That's it. Just no regulation, no taxes. That's their entire agenda. That's the whole thing, right? So what if Elon could actually determine who is going to vote, in a way that's amenable to his goals, hopes, and dreams about being a billionaire and paying taxes? And then he could, report alongside your voter registration whether or not you are qualified to vote. Can you imagine this? Can you? Literacy tests, but not really literacy. Just, reading like what you've read, knowing what you've read and how educated you are about issues. Oh, damn. Why am I doing this to myself now? I mean, really. It's just, it's not going to happen in our lifetime. Okay? No, it isn't. And it's not going to happen in yours, Brett. Maybe Alpha. Maybe Gen Alpha. Maybe them. Good. I have relieved myself of all responsibility. Good. Valerie in Oregon.
Randy, I love you.
Yeah, I love you more.
Well, listen, I'm concerned about these little embryos. They're all in limbo right now in Alabama.
I know, and they're all flying around heaven with, like little limbo, thalidomide babies, with little hands coming out. Because they haven't formed.
Well, my rhetorical question is, who's in charge of these little embryos right now?
Who's going to take care of them? That's right. That's right.
Who's paying for them right now?
Who's paying for them?
Is the University of Alabama flipping the bill?
Oh,
I think the parents probably pay a lot of money to keep those babies alive.
I don't think it's very expensive. I think it's like a one-time charge for a nitrogen container, and I think it's really low maintenance. I mean, like taking care. Like taking care of grandma. This that's expensive. I mean, you're talking proper care and feeding. You're talking washing. You're talking. That's a heavy lift. An embryo, this is why. It's like a one-time payment to put it into the nitrogen container, and then no muss, no fuss.
I was hoping you would say that there's like this monthly payment like everything else we freaking pay for,
Well,
and that people could just stop paying for these little embryos and just see what happens. But anyway, I think we should start like a little village down in Florida. What's that old person's village there?
The Villages.
Yeah, the Villages. We should have an embryo village in Florida. or in Colorado or something. Mike Lindell can purchase all of them.
Very nice. I like it. I wonder how nitrogen behaves in high altitude. That might be an interesting
Oh,
experiment.
even better.
Yeah.
Let's go even higher, Randy. Let's go to an
let's put him on the moon. Let's put him
on a planet that has that, what is it, the swirling nitrogen? What is it? Liquid nitrogen.
Yes. But you need...
Yeah, we can combine all your topics today in one.
Yes. A place, but it has to have nitrous oxide. It has to have.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, you're talking about the death penalty, right? Which is is just pure nitrogen without the oxide portion, So that's where it gets expensive, I guess, right?
Right. Well, don't tell Oklahoma about that. So.
Yeah, it's a very. Listen, this is really. If people can't see it now, if they can't smell the theocracy at this point, if they don't understand that they want to hold embryos hostage, I can't help them anymore. I'm out.
Right.
Yeah.
And one more thing, Randy. Listen, I saw you once in 2012 up in Seattle with Tom Hartman and Mike.
Yeah.
It was one of the best days of my life.
Get out.
I almost met you too, but you were walking off at intermission and you were coming my way, and these several people away from me called your name. So I had to meet Mike Papantonio instead, which is just as great.
Oh, he's responsible for RFK, by the way.
I know. I used to listen to the Ring of Fire.
Exactly. So now you know what it means.
I love you, Randy.
Love you
love
more.
you. Thank you.
Thanks, Valerie. You're hysterical. I would love to have coffee with you. Why didn't we meet? My bad. It's on me. If I still worked with the group of people that could organize, I would do a redo. I'd go back out there, which is the longest flight you could take in the continental United States, from South Florida to Seattle. Yeah, and they used to make us do it in a weekend. Woohoo! And back then I was a smoker.
Mary had a little man.
We believe that all men are created equal.
To the magnificent mosaic that is America. From radio beacon to radio beacon. I have a dream today.
Change has come to America.
Believe me.
Help is on the way.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
It's a figment of your imagination.
Randi Rhodes Show.
Turn up your mind.
Even the sneaker thing. I was on social media last night. Very interesting. As you see black support eroding from Joe Biden, this is connecting with black America because they love sneakers. They're into sneakers. They love this is a big deal, certainly in the inner city. So when you have Trump roll out his sneaker line, they're like, wait a minute, this is cool. He's reaching them on a level that defies and is above politics. The culture always trumps politics. And Trump understands culture like no politician I've ever seen.
Question for you on that point, though.
Yeah.
Will the people that are excited about the sneakers and excited about Donald Trump, will that translate into them going out and voting for Donald Trump?
Well, anybody willing to put $400 down for a pair of sneakers? Yeah, I think that's commitment and love.
Why am I... Okay, so... Okay, so Fox News says that black people love sneakers. I was going to say not exactly in those words, but it's exactly in those words. That's exactly what that pasty white boy just said. That sneakerheads have a race, and the race is black, and that Donald Trump is going to get African-American voters because they love sneakers? What the hell kind of condescension is that? That black voters could not... He's not even saying that they're being paid to vote for Donald Trump, which would be an insult. He's saying they're paying Donald Trump to vote for Donald Trump because they're black and they like sneakers, especially in the inner city.
I mean, his premise is so inherently racist. It's insane. There are so many different multiracial sneakerheads. And speaking of the sneaker culture, this guy's definitely the best representation of the sneaker culture in America. He's got his finger on the pulse. Yeah, of what minorities in this country like and think are, quote, cool. The biggest air quotes I've ever done in my entire life. Cool.
Yeah. You know, if I needed cultural advice about what is, hot and going on in the Latino / African American / Islamic community, I know I would go to Fox News white boy there and ask him because, he would have the exact answer. What is that? And why do they get away with it? I don't even understand. Like, they scream about cancel culture all the time, and nobody actually says, "Wow, that was pretty freaking racist." Wow, that really was. Nobody will say it because it's exactly what Fox feeds a steady diet of to angry old white men. And angry old white men apparently like to know that inner city black people will pay $400 to vote for Trump, because that's his theory. That is the theory of his case right there. That's stunning. It's just okay. And so let's continue with the intellectual heft that is the Republican Party. Here is Tommy Tuberville from Alabama, a senator, one of only 2 people to represent Alabama in the United States Senate, opining on the new IVF ban in his state.
Do you have a reaction to the Alabama Supreme Court ruling on the fact that embryos are children?
Yeah, I was all for it. You just got to look at everything going on in the country. It's just an attack on families, attack on kids.
What?
Anything that we can do for the future of our young people, because they're our number one commodity. We need to have more kids. We need to have an opportunity to do that. And I thought this was the right thing to do. But
IVF is used to have more children, and right now IVF services are paused at some of the clinics in Alabama. Aren't you concerned that this could impact people who are trying to have kids?
Well, that's for another conversation. I think the big thing is right now you go back to the situation and try to work it out to where it's best for everybody. I mean, that's what the whole abortion issue is about. So
but this really isn't about abortion. It's about IVF and the concern that now families might not have access to it.
But it's about the same direction. But I agree. But people need to have access. We need more kids. We need the people to have the opportunity to have kids. I'd have to look at the entire bill and how it's written. I have not seen it.
Supreme Court decision.
Well, I know that. But I haven't looked at it. But this is state issue.
Women aren't going to be able to have IVF treatments already in some places.
Yeah. That's unfortunate.
What do you say to them?
Unfortunate.
Unfortunate. Could alienate swing voters in the general election?
I don't know. It might some, but you don't hear a lot of talk about it. I mean, you don't. That's not a big conversation.
Well, it's a conversation now, and IVF is not a Democrat or Republican issue. Families across the board use it. What is your message to the Supreme Court if this does in fact stop families from being able to use IVF?
Well, we don't need that.
Get the ranch dressing, Junior. That is a word salad. He really doesn't know one damn thing about what's going on in his own freaking state. He doesn't understand any of it. He thinks it's a bill. It was a Supreme Court decision. It was a decision made in the Alabama State Supreme Court. I don't know if you realize this, but every single one of the justices on the Alabama Supreme Court, shocker, is a Republican. The Chief Justice, Mr. Parker, Tom Parker, which sounds to me like some con man around Elvis, okay? But Tom Parker, the Chief Justice of the Alabama Supreme Court, actually said this was, God, that God didn't want IVF, and that destroying the embryo was an affront to God. That's why he was ruling this way, okay? And that's why the Alabama Supreme Court, Tommy Tuberville has absolutely no clue what the topic is, no clue what the subject is, no clue that it's not a bill, it's a Supreme Court decision, no clue. He said, well, we got to have more children, we got to have more babies. Well, IVF is used to have more babies. It's used for people who, barren old bitches, right? That's IVF. Please help me. I'm a barren old bitch. I know because I was a barren old bitch, okay? Couldn't help me, but just saying. He has no clue what he's talking about. Not an inkling, not an iota of an idea, nothing. You want to know what a undereducated, poorly educated voter is? Tommy Tuberville. Except he's a senator, and he votes in the Senate. Not that this was a piece of legislation. No, this was a Supreme Court decision. But, oh, my God, it's his state, you understand. This is his state. Oh, my God. Holy crap, man. Really. I just, oh, wow.
To see his decline over the last few months, I don't think he'll make it. Just watched him yesterday walking on a tarmac in L.A. with Nancy Pelosi shuffling his feet, looking at the ground. I mean, we got to have some leadership in this.
Oh, I could watch that all day. All day I could do it. I could watch it 5, 10, 15, 100 times. I could watch it every day, all day for like a month. Seriously, if I'm ever retired and you're wondering, like, what does Randi do with her day? I watch that. The master race, everybody. MAGA. Holy crap. Not a clue. And here's Byron Donalds. He's a rising star in Florida, right?
Donalds of Florida, a rising star in the GOP, appeared similarly confused, expressing support for the Alabama ruling and also IVF, which the Alabama ruling now essentially prohibits.
The Alabama Supreme Court just ruled that embryos are children. Do you believe embryos are children?
I do, because embryos grow into being adults like we are.
Congressman, do you believe in IVF?
I think there are women who've decided to seek that process, and that's a good thing.
Oh, my God. Coming and going, they got you. Coming and going. They just can craft a lie like in real time. I've never seen, a straight men pivot quite like that on their tippy toes. Just, woo, making bunhead ballerinas look silly. The pirouette that they can do, it's really kind of breathtaking. All of them, little spinners, baby, all of them. You can't complain about the educated voter in the MAGA party because there are no educated voters in the MAGA party. There's no educated, representatives in the MAGA party. They just make it up. They just make it up as they go along. This is just stunning. And, they're playing with our future. You understand? They're playing with our ability to have or not have a family. They're playing with our freedom. I just...
All things Randi at RandiRhodes.com.
Go for launch.
Speaking truth to power, the Randi Rhodes Show.
We got to stop giving this guy, special privileges, but it's Friday. I'm in a good mood. Greg in North Carolina, go ahead.
Thank you for taking my call, Randi. Hope you're doing well.
You too.
Quick question I asked your call screener. Why is it you're so cavalier about the embryos, but if I destroy a bald eagle or a golden eagle egg, the felony conviction can be $250,000 or 2 years in prison? What's the difference between a bird egg and a human egg?
One's an animal, one's a human.
I'll say the wife's a human.
Are you comparing me to an animal?
What's that?
You're comparing me to an animal?
No, I'm saying why.
Yeah, you are.
Why? No, I was saying why.
Yeah, you're comparing my egg to an animal egg.
Randi, you're making up stories because you're losing the argument. I asked you.
There is no argument to even be had here. What's wrong with you? Okay, so first of all, an eagle is an endangered species. I'm not aware that humans are endangered.
Okay.
Number one. Number two, eagles can't look out for themselves. People can. Number three, the fine for taking an eagle egg is $5,000. It's not $250,000. And women pay $600 to $1,500 for somebody to take their eggs. So I guess the thinking brain, I guess the people on this planet that are reproducing have a brain that tells them that they are going, that they're willing to pay.
You can talk over me?
Yes, I am. What do you want to say?
Because I'm reading right from the Act right now.
What are you reading from the Act?
It's the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. Felony convictions carry maximum fine.
Maximum. How many violations?
Or 2 years in prison.
How many violations? How many violations to get $250,000? It does too.
No, it says.
It does.
It does not.
Oh, God. First offense, okay? 1972 amendments increased civil penalties for violating provisions of the Act to a maximum fine of $5,000 for destroying an eagle egg, just so you know. Or 1 year imprisonment with $10,000 or not more than 2 years in prison for a second conviction. Felony convictions carry a maximum fine of $250,000 okay, so it's for the third, if you keep on doing it, because they're an endangered species, okay? And they can't look out for themselves. That's number one. Number two, a Fabergé, it's all about supply and demand, baby. Okay? So an endangered species that can't look out for itself and can't protect itself from human poachers carries a fine, a civil fine, if you mess with the nest and you take the eggs over and over and over again. That's number one. Number two, human beings are not endangered species. Number three, women pay. They pay to have their eggs harvested, somewhere between $600 and $1,500. Number four, Fabergé eggs, which are even rarer than eagle eggs, can be valued at $25 million, you moron. It's all about supply and demand and the ability to make a choice. Human beings can choose if they want their eggs extracted and kept in a nitrogen tank. Eagles can't, and they're endangered. I mean, Greg, this is the thing. That's not hard to figure out. So what in the F are you calling me for? Like I said, you have a problem. You're a chronic. You can't stop yourself from saying stupid things in public. I really beg you to get help because you're not an idiot. And you know the difference between an endangered eagle and a civil fine for poaching or for destroying, and women paying to have their eggs extracted and saved. Enough. Jimmy in Alabama.
Oh, hi. First time, long time. Oh! And I get to follow Greg in North Carolina. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
I originally called, you were talking about NASA versus private companies running the space program. Well, I grew up in NASA. My father worked for NASA. It built the whole community where we lived in Huntsville, Alabama.
Right. And you know what else is in Huntsville? Just speaking about Alabama, you got a fertility clinic there, okay? That is a very big hub for women who need, fertilization, who need in vitro fertilization help, medical care to have children. That's also in Huntsville, and they had to shut down yesterday, too.
Yes. It makes me crazy. I live in the state where they have completely gone nuts. They went nuts years ago, and it just gets worse all the time.
Right.
My son grew up believing this crap. I can't even talk to him.
Yeah, it's sad.
But yes, I heard somewhere. I heard the Chief Justice from Alabama Supreme Court speak. Oh my God!
Oh really?
And yes, want to replace democracy with pure theocracy.
Yes.
Just.
So let me ask you this: you live down there. Has anybody spoken to you about the Seven Mountains theory? Do you know what that is?
No, I heard you mention it earlier.
It's called.
You should
look. Oh no, don't. You got to look it up. I mean, this is exactly what Tom Parker and that whole crowd in Alabama is all about. It's about a thing called the Seven Mountains Mandate. It's a belief that conservative Christians are meant to conservative Christians, okay, not bleeding heart liberal Christians, not any other kind of Christians, not the Jesus crowd, not the Turn the Other Cheek crowd, not the Sermon on the Mount crowd. Definitely not them. A different crowd, the conservative crowd. They say that the reading of the Bible dictates that all media, that all business, all education, all government must be controlled by the conservative Christian reading of the Bible. And that is your Supreme Court in Alabama.
Yes. Yes.
Here's a quote from him. Okay, quote. This is Tom Parker, the Chief Justice of the Alabama Supreme Court. Quote. God created government, and the fact that we have let it go into the possession of others is heartbreaking, Parker said. That's why I am calling on and equipping people to step back into these mountains right now, the Seven Mountains. He wrote that Alabama has adopted, quote, a theologically based view of the sanctity of life, and that life cannot be wrongfully destroyed without incurring the wrath of a holy God. He said his legal opinion is supported by the book of Genesis. Can I just draw your attention to the book of Genesis if he's going to go there? If he is, just so you know. In the book of Genesis, life begins at anybody? The breath, first breath. God breathes breath into the nose, comes out the mouth. Life. Not the embryo. No, God didn't know about embryos. God did not know about fetuses and embryos. And now, embryos are sacred, fetuses are sacred. Everything is sacred except for the fetus-bearing being, the actual woman. Wait, everybody. The sperm. Every sperm is sacred. Just remember that. Remember. And Elon's going to make sure.
Call in, connect. To speak to Randi, call 561-270-3844. 561-270-3844.
We are here in the swamp to drain the swamp and then eventually raise the swamp to the ground and construct the new American Republic on its ashes.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, do you think the deep state people that all live around Washington, D.C. and the DMV, right, like, the D.C., Maryland, Virginia, they don't notice all these conservatives around? Of course they do. They see you guys, right? They're scared of you guys, right? Like, they're scared of the people that come to this conference because they know that it's the people that come to this conference that give the shot for a guy like Trump to come back to the White House and to actually take their power away, right? Like,
the people in that town that you know and I know so well, they want this to not exist. They want all of you to not exist. They want your borders to not exist, and they want to get rid of you. And that's why I say we do need to be here. We do need to plant a flag.
So sick. They are so sick. So sad.
And the one on the left was drunk? That dude was all over the map.
He's a Breitbart dude. He's one of those Breitbart guys. He's a Steve Bannon sycophant, okay? He reminds me of every program director I ever worked for in the 80s, okay? Coming to work drunk today, and we don't like you. You're an at-will employee. You know what that means, darling? It means we could fire your ass if you don't do it my way. Because there's three ways of doing things. There's your way, there's my way, and there's no other way. Huh? Yeah. Always with a bottle of Crown Royal in the desk. Always. Listen, this is it's a very scary time. This is a time when, for some strange reason, white Christian nationalists think that this is their moment. They really do. They think this is their moment in time, that Donald Trump is the man. He's the one that can do it for them. This is a guy who, likes to molest, women. This is a guy who actually was fined it's $88 million now, $88 million, $5 million the first go around, and then $83 million the second go around, because he couldn't stop trashing a woman he raped. I mean, really. And you got people out in this audience that confuse birds with women. Yeah. Animals and women. Thought of in the same breath. And very, very sad. Lana in Tennessee.
Oh, thank goodness. How are you?
All right. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing okay. First, before I start, I want to say your nails are fabulous, and I absolutely love your highlights.
Thank you.
I did notice them.
Thank you. Girls rock. Girls rule. We're the best.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we really love when one another notices those things.
Yeah.
Because men never do.
Well, and because you sit for 2 hours to do each of these things.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Listen, today is my month anniversary for my new job. I went back to truck driving.
Yeah, I know.
As I told you last time,
Yeah.
Unfortunately. It's a really great company, but it's based in Alabama. Yikes. Oh, my God. And, I went from a company that was based in Marjorie Taylor Greene's district to Alabama. So I can't get away from these people, Randy. It's really terrifying.
Yeah.
You know,
I
and
know.
Seeing Tommy Tuberville on your show, it's like, oh, geez.
I know.
You know?
So this is real. He's really a senator. Alabama really does vote this way.
Terrifying.
It's terrifying. It's bad. It's ugly. But
not good.
The idea that people like us want their voice heard also, but it can't be
exactly.
But it can't be the voice, which is what has them so angry. It's very telling.
Well, and it's all about controlling women.
It's
'Cause
about
if you
controlling
control women's
everything.
Bodies in every aspect.
It's not just
you
women,
control
Lana.
the country.
Lana,
well, that's true.
it's not
That is
just
true.
women. They're going to go after gay marriage next. They're going to.
Oh yes, absolutely. Yes. I'm sorry.
They're going to go
that's
after
true.
media. They're going to go. I mean, listen.
Yes.
They've already started with burning books and banning books. Now they're banning eggs. Everything with them is ban it. They're going to ban travel. Women can't
It's
travel
gross.
from one state to the next state. I mean,
I know.
You are going to end up
I know.
working on an underground railroad of sorts. Okay.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I was thinking about that. Well, let me tell you something, honey. Sunday was my 60th birthday.
Oh,
and I
happy
want you
birthday.
to know, thank you. I spent it on my Randi Rhodes podcast. You know, I bought a stinking podcast and I have access to back episodes. I spent the whole day while I was driving on my birthday listening to back episodes of Randi Rhodes that I had missed.
Well, here's one for you. This will be on your back episode. Happy birthday, Lana. Don't ever let the
Thank you.
bastards get you down. 60 is the
Well,
new
thank
50, and you're looking good, and you're feeling good, and you'll be good. Keep going. Just keep going.
It is my total intent to do so.
Thanks.
And you're my absolute inspiration. Also, I wear my Randi Rhodes Turn Up Your Mind T-shirt proudly at my new company in Alabama.
Oh, God, be careful. Be careful.
If they ask me what it's about, I will tell them.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Thank you so much, Lana.
Love you.
I love you more. Drive safe. Oh, that's a beauty, right? That's just wonderful. All right, Brother David in Kansas.
Happy birthday, Lana. That was beautiful.
See?
It's a frozen embryo freaking out Friday, sister.
Unbelievable.
And I know. And here's the thing, and this comes directly from the chat room. Hi, chat room, but it's a question. When the gorgeous girdle concern happens, trying to be proactive here, somebody asked, would there be garters as well?
Garters. We can make them. We can make them detachable.
Yeah.
I know how to do that.
Well, that's the whole point.
Right.
Then, when I'm thinking about all those poor little frozen embryos, maybe some special embryo cozies, like a tea cozy, or a nitrogen.
Well, you want to know that
holder.
here's the ultimate scam. Okay, we can start selling embryo cozies right now. They would be microscopic because it's just a clump of cells, and so what you get in the mail would not be visible to the human eye, and we can say we made delivery, and all we have to do is send empty boxes to people.
That's a grift right on the
That's a grift
same
worth
level. Worth doing, right, with its impossible gold, horrible.
Yeah, we'll make them gold. We'll put a microscopic T on them. We'll make them gold. We'll tell them that there's also an American flag on the microscopic embryo cozy.
Still more of us, sister.
Love you.
Love you always.
Bye. Happy birthday, Lana.
That's a Trump level grift. I'm impressed.
Hey, man, it's not hard to think of grifts. It's hard to not show shame about them. So, that's the part where you have to be dead inside. Yeah, I could think of a million ways to rip people off. Would I do it? No. Why? I have shame. I am not dead inside. I would feel it every morning. I'd wake up with anxiety.
Fatality. This is the Randi Rhodes Show. To speak with Randi, dial 561-270-3844. That's 561-270-3844.
The Supreme Court there said that embryos created through IVF are considered children and are offered those same protections. Do you agree?
I mean, embryos to me are babies.
So even those created through IVF.
I mean, I had artificial insemination. That's how I had my son. So when you look at, one thing is to have to save sperm or to save eggs, but when you talk about an embryo, you are talking about, to me, that's a life. And so I do see where that's coming from when they talk about that.
Tomorrow, South Carolina has an opportunity to vote for her. It is the presidential primary in South Carolina. And you know what's really fascinating is it's an open primary state. It is. So if you're a Democrat, you can vote and ask for the Republican ballot. If you're a Republican, you can ask for the Democratic ballot. Everybody's allowed to interfere in everybody else's business, right? But you can't vote in both. You have to choose one and then go vote. So here's my little thing, okay? I really don't give a damn, what they do in South Carolina, because I think it's pretty obvious what they're going to do in South Carolina. It's not like it's a cliffhanger. It's not like it's a, nail biter. No, they're going to vote for Trump because that is the groupthink that is, alive and well in South Carolina. It's what people do to fit in. It's what people do to get along with their neighbors. It's what they say. It's, like back in the day, you had to be racist. Back in the day, you had to be a segregationist. Back in the day, you had to say racist things like only black people in the inner city like sneakers. I don't know. Crazy crap. So, you kind of know it's a gimme, right? But if you wanted to make it interesting, if you really wanted a horse race, if you really wanted an election, if you wanted some excitement in your life, you would vote for Nikki Haley in the Republican primary tomorrow. You would. Because I'll tell you a little dirty secret. Trump cannot win. Do you know that? Are you down with that? You get that? You understand that? This IVF thing, okay, this is, the whole abortion thing's been kryptonite for Donald Trump. It's like he takes credit for taking away freedom. I don't think you can win enough independents or Republicans in a general election when you're responsible for and crowing about taking away freedom. Banning books is a thing, right? Banning abortion is your thing. Now banning IVF. This is banning travel between states to get. Now they're into contraception. They want to take that away too. And they're going to go after gay marriage. You understand that. And there are just too many people that aren't in the mood for this kind of chaos, that aren't in the mood for theocracy, that aren't in the mood for one version of religion to be in your life, to be in your house, to be in your bedroom, to be in your doctor's office, to be in Foot Locker with you. I don't think that there are enough people, let's just say, to make that the winning message in the 21st century of America. I just don't. But I will tell you that there are forces that are working like tirelessly against us. You think I'm kidding about Elon Musk and the sanctity of like every sperm is sacred in this, version of the Republican Party and this iteration of it. No, I'm not kidding. You know how many kids Elon has? Does anybody know the answer to that question? How many children does Elon Musk have? Answer, his go to 11. Yes, he has 11, not 10, 11. 11 children. Do you think that he wouldn't be amenable to having a Neuralink that actually signals the vice and virtue police in your precinct each and every time you reach for the Kleenex and the Lubriderm? Because I don't think that that's something that they've given up on. No more sitting in a circle. No. I'm telling you right now, this is all in service of billionaires, but some of them are so ideological that they have figured out a way in. A way in. You talk about a grift. You talk, oh my God, it's, I don't want to call it holy war because that sounds like someone could win it. What if somebody won? What if we actually had a holy war and somebody won it? See what I mean? You don't really want that. And I know that there aren't enough people. But Nikki Haley, on the other hand, she could win. She could. She could beat Joe Biden. She could do it. So I'm just saying, South Carolina, if you were interested in a real ability to send a message and say that you're done with this, a rematch, that you really mean you don't want these two going against each other. You want a horse race. You want a real election. You want something that's different. You want something that I would say vote for Nikki Haley and send Donald Trump the most unbelievable, undeniable shot heard around the world signal by having Donald Trump lose the Republican primary in South Carolina. Do you know how the chattering class, hello, I'm one of them, do you know how many times we would be talking about you in South Carolina? Do you have any idea how that would catapult your reputation? So for all of you who think that, everybody's ignored you, that you're insignificant, that nobody pays attention to what you do, that would be a way to get everybody to focus like a laser on you. Just saying. It's an idea. Craig in Washington.
Hello, Randy.
Hello, Craig.
Hello, my queen. I was listening to Tom Hartman earlier this morning, and he had the judge from Alabama giving a speech at a QAnon thing.
A QAnon thing?
A QAnon assembly thing, talking about the Luciferian rulers of the other countries of our world and the pedophilias, and how Donald Trump is protected by Gabriel and the angel Michael.
Oh, good God.
And you're like, well, you're like hearing this going, wait. And these people are in charge of stuff?
Right. Like the law? Really?
Yeah. They're in charge of people's lives.
Yeah.
You're wait.
Like an entire state. Yeah, I know.
Anyway, I just had to put that out there so that you can hear it and others can.
I will get it. I will grab it for Monday. If it's there, I will get it.
It's gone mental.
Oh, my God. I know. But listen, they really do think this is their moment for theocracy. They really do feel that democracy doesn't work for them, and that there's this moral decay and decline in the United States, and it's something that they would like to identify and fix as being some sort of a deficit that we have here in the freest country in the world, right?
Well, they can't call it Sharia law, so what are they going to call it?
They're going to call it the Seven Mountains Mandate. That's what it is.
Oh, Lord. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I just had to put this out for you and everybody to hear because I love you. I've been loved you since Air America.
I love you a long
20 some odd years.
Yeah, thank you.
You changed my life, baby.
Thanks. Thank you. And I just want you to know, I am an embryo. I will always be that embryo that came from nowhere. Is a zygote the same? I don't know. Charles in Texas.
Good afternoon, Randy.
Hello.
I hope you're wonderfully well.
Thank you. You too.
I am a first-time caller. Where's my kiss?
Oh!
Okay. Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
Okay. Happy birthday, Lorna. Shout out to my
Oh,
wife
you are the sweetest. That is so nice.
Shout out to my wife for 53 years, Elnora. We listen to
hi,
you every day.
Eleonora. Wow, that's amazing. That's beautiful.
I don't know how she put up with me all this
I don't
time.
either. I'm already frustrated with you. Go ahead.
I left Alabama 47 years ago.
Good move.
I want everybody to know I did escape. It is possible.
Yes.
That was a joke.
I hear you.
Tongue in cheek. If 10 spermatozoas and 10 eggs make a person in a petri dish,
yeah,
then my wife. Well, I guess I got to get some eggs from somewhere else.
Yeah.
But my wife and I are going to go and get 10 of them. We're going to name them, and then we're going to take them off our tax return.
Absolutely. You go for it, Charles. You're right. You're owed a tax. The child tax credit is made for you.
Now,
yeah.
Last of all, how can Trump win? If these sperm and eggs are people, then when mother votes and she's conservative, she can vote 11 times. One for herself and 10 for her little unborn children.
Well,
because they are children So now this is how Trump can win through the unborn.
But children can't vote. But you have a great idea on the child tax credit. Really, really good one. Really excellent, excellent. This is why your wife is with you for 53 years. Half of your ideas are good. The other half not so good. Yes, and I want all the men to think about this as well. You are now fathers, even though, stuff is in nitrogen canisters. So if you're not visiting regularly, and maybe even if you are, child support could be demanded of you. Yeah, I mean, this is such a great plan. Have a good weekend.